Okay, so we have to.
So, Kamania Strange and Zainab. So we're expecting Bashir Ali.
No, I'm worried about him because I think he wrote me a few days ago asking if he could come online, and I might have forgotten to respond to him. So if he doesn't show up, then we'll start with Zainab.
And this person too is not online. This person is not online. So now you can start.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. How many of you were here for the first roundtable on Tuesday? A few of you. So this is the the fourth or fifth panel we've had on knowing spirits. We had one at LSA last year, another one at ASA UK. We're having this one, and then we had arranged one for ALA in Nairobi. I think they've split us up a little bit, but basically we're interested in exploring kind of the idea of writing about spirits, taking spirits seriously. And so on our panel today, we have Retsipile Makamane, my colleague at SOAS, University of London. I'm Carmen McCain. I'm in the School of Languages, Cultures, and Linguistics at SOAS, University of London. And my colleague, Retsipile Makamane, agreed to join us on this panel. We have Bashir Ali Salau. I'm not sure if he's going to make it at Federal University Dutse. If he doesn't make it, then we'll have a little bit more time for the discussion. And then Zainab Ango from the University of Abuja, but you are currently on a postdoc at, I believe, Leeds, is that right? Yes, okay. So both Retsipile and Zainab are coming in from the UK. And finally, we have Kolawole Olaya, who is at Anderson University in the US, but is here with us in person. So we'll go ahead and get started. Each of you have 15 minutes. It may be that you can have a little bit of leeway because it looks like one of our presenters didn't show up. But why don't we start with the 15 minutes, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more time at the end for discussion if one person doesn't show up. So we'll start with Retsipile. Retsipile, you can share your screen if you would like. What's that?
I said I'm back in the
You can turn around. Okay, can you allow her to share?
Is it there?
It's not showing up here. Okay, there we go. We see it.
You see it?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Retsipile, as my colleague Carmen has already said. I'm going to speak about human visitations to the underworld in African literature myths, and the title of my presentation is called Spirit Moves, therefore entailing this movement between different worlds. The key concepts that I'm going to speak to are African cosmology and metaphysics, and mythology and through memory. The conceptual framing I would like to use is The Fourth Stage by Wole Soyinka. I'll speak about three writers. All of them hail from Southern Africa, which is the region where I come from. I come from Lesotho. And so I'll speak about the work of Yvonne Vera and Sello Doika and Dambudzo Marachera. And the specific text that I'm going to speak to are Nahanda by Yvonne Vera and The Hidden Star by Doika, and the short story of Dambudzo Marachera, which is in the House of Hunger, called Protista. I'll just like to open this with a quote from, our pictures are on top of my quotation with, oh wait, I can't see my screen now. What have I done? Okay, the quotation from Nahanda, the novel itself, from the very first beginning of the novel, it says, "The women were here to welcome the child. Each of them had already met the child in dreams which they could not recall." And I think this really launches us straight into the kind of world that Yvonne Vera presents to us in this novel. And so the bigger idea that I think about is this notion of being of Earth and being of other worlds. And these are the ideas that sort of discussion. We see this, I think the symbolism of the rock that you see in Yvonne Vera's Nahanda really speaks to the entirety of both the novel and the mythology. The mythology is based on the Shona myth of Nahanda, who as a young girl around the 15th century, 16th century, entered a rock because she was denied inheritance by her brothers. And Yvonne Vera uses this historical myth or mythology to speak to the history of Zimbabwe. In the 1890s, the Nahanda spirit or the Nahanda diviner is a kind of a cyclical spirit. So Nahanda gets born over and over and over and over again and enters a rock or enters the spirit of a lion and then comes back to the people. And we see the Nahanda that she captures is a real Nahanda who mobilizes her people and goes into the caves to fight British colonialism. In Sello Doika, we see this notion of connection, these notions of being connected to the land and coexistence and codependence with the underworld and us as human beings above, through a little girl who's born in a township who is of the spirit, but does not know this and eventually realizes that she is actually a spirit. And so again, we see this idea of earth substance. She finds rocks, and these rocks are connected to the bigger picture or the bigger solution to the strife and the problems that that the people of South Africa at the time that Doika is writing this novel are facing. Poverty, political oppression, and all the problems of that the township has to deal with. In Dambudzo Marachera's short story Protista, which is one of the most intense stream of consciousness piece of writing, we see this connection between water and land, and also the sky and the clouds. And again, it's an idea of a woman who leaves this earth and travels across the horizon, and the narrator himself is awaiting the return of this woman. And she has drawn a sign on a wall, a circle on the wall. And I don't know if I'm sure many people know this story, but I think we know that the character is watching the circle, and if the circle turns blue, it means that the the person who's traveled across the huntress Maria is still alive. But if the circle turns red and starts bleeding, it means that Maria is no longer alive. And really, this exchange between life and death, people coming back, we see it across the three texts. The girl in Silodoika is able to realize that her dead father is not really dead. He is in the underworld. So he has to travel to the underworld to rescue all the people that have been trapped there by this monstrous person in the township. And with the Handa again, we see this process of not only being in the cave and fighting as protest, but we see this eventual travel through the tunnels of the caves themselves to escape British colonialism. In fact, even though in the Nhanda that Yvonne Vera presents us with, the 1890s, Nhanda gets captured. Historically, the new Nhanda gets born and drives the Zimbabwean underground military soldiers through Zambia, and that's how Zimbabwe eventually gets its independence. So I think the concepts that are really sort of dominant and pressing for me in these kind of texts have to do with the idea of orality and mythology and the idea of human strife and completeness and limits of earthly when there is strife on earth, we always see these characters as an orality in contemporary literature, moving fluidly between the two worlds to seek solutions for the communities that they represent, or the communities for which they are leaders. And this brings the results of change and growth and renewal and rebirth. And using the concept of the fourth stage from Olusoyinka, as I began with, which is the kind of character or the hero or the heroine that goes into this fourth space of African metaphysics, which, as we understand birth, death, and the newborns, the fourth stage is the stage where all these forces meet. And conceptually, what my paper is saying is these texts present to us this possibility of meeting places and renewal and a sort of a cyclical process through which life can be renewed. And this continuity and cohesiveness of African mythology into novel and then into short story, aesthetically, I think it links us with the possibilities and the ease with which contemporary forms of African literature move between each other, in the sense that sometimes we like to think that oral story or mythology is a past or sort of like an indigenized form of literature. But I think a lot of African literature, as demonstrated by these three examples, always show us this cohesiveness, this continuity, this merge and textual relation, really. I will like to end with a quotation from Aiko Ama, which is in his novel 2000 Seasons. He says, "Remember this, against all that destruction, some yet remained among us, unforgetful of origins, dreaming secret dreams, seeing secret visions, hearing secret voices of our purpose." And I think some of the literature that I have discussed demonstrates this sort of link to mythology and African metaphysics very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Recipe.
Did I take too much time?
No, you actually didn't take a lot of time at all. So you saved us a bunch of time. Thank you. So,
Okay.
well, we think of your questions. We'll have lots of questions in the Q&A. Thank you, Recipe. We'll go next to, I think we have, so Dr. Bashir is not here. We'll go next to Zainab. Dr. Zainab Angle.
Okay, share. Hello, good evening, Carmen and everyone there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
great. Okay, it's nice to see your faces once again. Hello, Elizabeth. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just go straight to my paper, but before I begin, I'd like to apologize. It is not going to be as colorful as recipe-less paper. Yeah, and this is because I lost my data a couple of days ago. I think they were corrupted and I lost a lot of work. So, but I had to quickly make some slides between last night and this morning for this purpose. So please bear with me. All right. I'm not supposed to show that acknowledgement. It's supposed to come last. This is where we're starting from. Okay, so this is a working paper. It's work in progress. So even the title is a working title. Everything is working in progress. But I hope that I'll get some ideas here just by sharing my thoughts with you to develop the paper further. So this is the title I have. It's the paper is basically talking about spirits in house of cosmology. And the idea is to situate the conceptualization of spirit within decolonial thoughts in the field of African gender studies. So I'll quickly show my abstract, you will read, but quickly what I intend to do is to look at the possibilities. What I'm thinking about is to look at the decolonial gender possibilities of what is called iskokai. Iskokai in Hausa simply means spirits. So iskokai. Aljanu is another form of spirit, which is the jinn. As we go on, we'll get used to these terms and I'll explain them in greater details. And several other spirits within the cosmology. But I'm doing that through the lens of literature, fiction. As we know, fiction plays a very important role in our understanding of our universe. And there's a particular novelist that I'm interested in exploring her works, Hasana Hongui, who writes series, just like the Harry Potter series, you know, and she explores very different aspects of spirit life and spirit interactions with human beings. And I'm particularly interested in looking at how she presents spirit, gender dimensions in the spirit world, which, by the way, in her work is not different from the human world. So we are spirits, and spirits are us. And when I started writing this paper in Nigeria, I think I was more attuned with the spirits. But I think they've left me. I didn't come with them. They didn't come with me to lead. But that's okay. So this is exactly precisely what I want to do, to explore gender dynamics and particularly to see how spirits transcend the binary divide of in Western and even in religious, and by religion I mean Islam, which is the predominant religion of the House people. It transcends gender binary division in established discourses, as it were. So the whole idea is to see how writers creatively deconstruct the gender divide that is established, and in the process reconstitute or say reconstruct a kind of a discourse which dismantles the whole idea of binary. And of course, I'm saying this because we know that the whole idea of binary it's about power negotiation. So that is another angle which I hope to pursue in greater detail. So that is what we have there. So for this paper, I have a quick outline, which I quickly look at the House of Spirits, about House of Spirits agenda. And I am using a theoretical conceptualization of liminality and decoloniality. Because gender, women, queer people, would say in a patriarchal setting, such as the House of Society, are in marginalized spaces. Spirits are also in marginalized spaces because they don't form the power party in that kind of setting. So using the theory of liminality, which we shall see quickly how I intend to deploy it. I want to see how this theory is viable to discussing these concepts of indigenous spirits. Okay, then quickly also I'll look at the spirit, genders and gendered spirits, interrelations between spirits and humans. And then in conclusion, I just want to see and to pose it to all of us as we reflect, how is the spirit, that is the Iskokai, relevant to gender deconstruction? So that's what I'll be doing in the next couple of minutes. So about House of Spirits and gender. In the House of Cosmology, there are basically three kinds of spirits. The first is the Iskokai. Iskokai spirits predates Islam. And the people, the indigenous people of Hausa and Fulani community of northern Nigeria, Niger, and the greater part of that axis of the Sahel had a belief in spirits. That is the kind of spirits in House of Cosmology is the Aljanu, which is actually it came with kind of word for jinns. Jinns are spirit beings that find and God create. They are meant to worship God. We don't see them, but they also inhabit the earth, and the purpose of their creation is to worship God. So that is there. And then the third one is Maita, which is a form of sorcery, where people possess some kind of power to hurt others, to do evil, and so on and so forth. So these are the three kinds of spirits that we find in House of Cosmology. Now, the theoretical conceptualization of liminality and decoloniality, which I'm going to use in my analysis of Hassan's novel, is of course liminality. We all know means a state of being in between. But what is more interesting for me in deploying this theoretical framework is derived from Homi Bhabha's appropriation of the concept of liminality to talk about how spaces, in his own case, he was more concerned with colonial states, spaces of that were once colonized, and how they are now characterized by ambiguity, hybridity, but most importantly, by potential for subversion. And this is because the human being is inherently looking for an identity. The human being must always, I don't know, perhaps I'll say an anchor. There's always something unsettling about being in a liminal space, being where you don't know where you are. So there's this constant struggle. And when you are struggling for that space, of course, it is someone who has defined that space for you by pushing you out of the main space. So you are also now pushing back you know, to either come back into the space or to create your own space where you will anchor yourself as a human being, other than just being in between. So, and that is where the potential for subversion arises. So, but now appropriating Baba, I am using this to see how and when I say gender here, I'm talking about women, I'm talking about queer, I'm talking about every other form of gender which is known in the Western Christian Islamic epistemology, which, however, in traditional Hausa society, as we have seen in these novels and also as anthropological sources have shown, are not the same
Zainab, you have
as.
5 minutes.
Oh, shame. Let me quickly go on. All right. So they are not the same as that. So so quickly now, I'll just move to the next slide. So what spirit, genders, and gender spirits? What is the gender of spirits? Now, in the Hausa traditional belief system, the Iska is genderless, it is intangible, okay? But it possesses the ability to appear either as a human being, to appear either as a woman, a man, or queer, so which means it doesn't have a gender. Unlike the Aljanu, which has a gender. It has a gender, so there are female Aljanu genes, there are male genes, and then there are also white and black genes. So it is racialized and it is also sexualized. But so where am I bringing this comparison? This one, the Aljanu, which comes from a different belief system, okay, is this. This Koki is from a different belief system and is like that. So what do we, taking the concept of the Iskoki from indigenous, the Hausa indigenous cosmology, we can begin to decolonize, you know, epistemologies of gender construction. Now, quickly look at what Hunkwe has done in her work. I have a few examples of how she uses Iskoki to transcend gender. That first, the spirit is responsible for either your accomplishment, a failure, our health, our this, our that, our that. And so if the spirit is a woman, or is a male, or is a queer, or is hermaphrodite, or is intersex, whatever it is immaterial. What is material is what it does to your life. That is its benevolence or its malignance. And secondly, that the spirit offer protection and defense to the person, the body it inhabits. And thirdly, that people can actually conjure other spirits to defend them, and these spirits can appear in any form. And so deconstructing the idea of gender and power, male power in particular. So lastly, in conclusion, I asked, how is the spirit relevant to gender deconstruction? So I asked, if we take African spirit gender practice as theoretically significant, what might be possible, what might become possible in thinking about gender epistemologies and politics? And I have an idea there on decolonizing African knowledges, which says it can be achieved through fiction, non-fiction, and other means, arts and music. And so if we take a literary piece such as Hunkwe's portrayal of genderless spirit, then I think that it will address some of the, it is viable actually, tool in addressing some of the, I wouldn't say misconceptions at this point, but some of the rather conceptions, construction of gender in indigenous epistemology. I hope I am making sense, because I'm going to stop here. So I'm just still thinking around these ideas, and I hope that I'll get people to respond, and perhaps they will become clearer as I think along. So I'm thankful to come in and celebrate. Yeah, thank you for prompting me to think about spirits around and with me. And
he's here.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zainab. You actually were perfectly at 15 minutes, so that's great.
Good. Great.
It looks like Dr. Bashir Aliu Salau has come in. So if you would like to start your paper, Dr. Bashir.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Good afternoon, sir.
Who are you?
Good. Dr. Bashir, you have 15 minutes.
Network is poor.
Yeah, sorry.
We can hear you clearly, both online and on site.
Thank you very much, my mentor. I hope you are doing well.
Yes, we're in the
I'm very
session
sorry for not being physically at the conference. This is due to some pressing issues I'm facing at home. One, I was faced with serious malaria. Secondly,
It's part of the presentation.
my paper is talking about the importance of spiritual intervention that prevents girls from indulging in premarital affairs. It is a fact that the Hausa people at present and before this time do indulge in seeking for assistance from spirits in all their day-to-day activities. One, which is for paramount important, is the issue of marriage. The Hausa people do quite a lot, give special reference to marital status. This made them to see that when contracting marriage, they do as much as possible to get a virgin girl. In order to do that, they seek for spiritual intervention that will show them the girl is truly virgin. In so many cases, you will find that there are many spirits the Hausa people do consult for their in seeking their assistance. This made the Hausa people to identify two categories of genes. There are the Vekaken Iskoki and the Faralen Iskoki. The Vekaken Iskoki are those Iskoki that the Hausa people look for any assistance that they will deal with a person decisively. In cases where they won't kill a person, they use assistance of the black Iskoki or Vekaken Iskoki. When people are looking for power, wealth, and other things, they employ the services of Faralen Iskoki or the white genes. So in cases to do with marriage, most House people look for assistance from the black Iskoki or the Vekaken Iskoki. The Vekaken Iskoki include Sarkin Aljan, Duna, Kakare, and many others. While the Faralen Iskoki include Mana Alhaji, Inna, and others. So the house people, they are categorized into certain groups in which each group have a specific Iska they consult when contracting marriage. For example, in ƙasar Katsina, presently Katsina and Daura, the people seek for the assistance of Inna. Inna means the mother of the Bakaken Iskoti, or the black jeans. So whenever they are contracting marriage, they will seek the assistance of Inna. Those people that are responsible for safeguarding the tradition of Inna have a special sword. That sword, they don't usually take it outside, only on that day or a day before a girl will be married, will be given out for marriage. In that case, they will invite 3 people and use a turmi. A turmi is something which the house people use in grinding guinea corn and millet. They will tie it upside down in a rectangular shape. One man will hold the legs of a goat, the front legs. Then the other will hold the back legs. And one will hold the sword. If that girl in any way did not commit, did not know anybody, the person holding that sword will instantly cut that goat into 2, instantly. But in as much as that girl knows a man, even if he can cut it 1,000,000 times, he will not put a small wound on that on that goat. After that, instantly that girl will fall down and die. What are you saying? Hello?
No,
Please
go
ignore
ahead.
that,
Please
sir.
go ahead.
Just go ahead.
Yeah?
Please go ahead, you.
Okay, what I was saying is that when they come to identify that girl did not indulge in any sexual affair before that date, they will bring a he-goat. 3 people. One will hold the front legs of the goat. One other will hold the back legs of the goat. And the other person will hold a sword. He will use that sword to cut the goat into 2. In as much as that girl was not able to have sexual intercourse with anybody before that date, that person will cut that he goat into 2. But if he violated the tradition, in as much as that man will continue cutting that goat, he will not even put a small wound on it, not to talk of slashing it into 2. I hope you are clear with me.
Yeah.
Secondly, there are some people that seek the assistance of Magiro. Magiro is a secret that is found in Dusun Kwatarkwashi in Zamfara State today. People of Zamfara and Katsina do worship that spirit. The way they identify a girl did not in any way have sexual intercourse with anybody before that date is there is a specific shrine. There is a shrine. They worship that spirit. That is somewhere under a tamarind tree or any other tree that lasts longer. They bring presents that will appease the spirit. Such spirit, such instruments they do take there include a gong of wine, which they call burkutu, a he-goat, and a chicken, a cockroach. That will be a day before the wedding ceremony. On the wedding ceremony, once they reach that shrine and find that the he-goat is dead, the wine is has been drunken, and the cock is dead. This indicates that that girl did not in any way have sexual affair with anybody before that date. Outright there, her family will start celebrating. But in as much as they made the wine intact, they made the he-goat alive, they made the cock alive, instantly that girl will fall and died. That means she violated the condition of her family.
Go on, please continue.
Okay. The third category of people that use the intervention of spirits to ascertain the level of their children, most especially female children, that they don't know anybody as far as sexual intercourse is concerned, is Pulmawa. They are found presently in Jigawa State, in Kano State, some parts of Kaduna State. What they did was that on the day the girl will be given into marriage, the families that will marry the girl will be a small ram and a small dog. They will ask the girl, please tell us the truth. Were you able to have sexual intercourse with any man before this day? If she said that,
Doctor, you have 4
they will
minutes.
ask her this question. You
have 4 minutes, sir. You have 4 minutes.
Okay.
You have 4 minutes. Mm.
When they ask the girl, do you have any intercourse with any man before this date? When she answered them, yes, I had sexual intercourse with somebody. Okay, outright, they will not ask the intervention of spirits because she said it with her mouth. From that date, her dowry will be reduced if the man agreed to marry her. And again, they will give her that small dog to continue going with it around the town. Whoever saw her with that dog will know what she committed. It was from there, the Hausa people that got a Hausa saying, a word saying that says, Mugun Abu O Sheri Karene Mashiye bi. In English, evil is a dog that follows its owner. Are you clear with me? I hope you're clear with me.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Outright there, when she admitted, they would give her the dog to continue going with the dog wherever she goes. But when she said that she don't have any sexual affair with anybody, then the spirits will intervene. The way they intervene is that ram and the small dog, the wolf, they will slaughter them, cut the meat into pieces, put them all together and cook. Then the girl will be invited to come. Then she will be served with the meat. Eat. In as much as that girl did not in any way have sexual intercourse with anybody before that date. The moment she put her hand into the meat, she will pick that of the ram. But if she had sexual intercourse with somebody before that date, she will eat both the meat of the dog and the ram, which outright, after eating, she will fall down and die. I hope you are clear with me.
Yes, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, the first one and the last one is Makerawa. They are also found in Kano, Zamfara, Katsina, and Jigawa. What they do is that a day before the wedding, they will get a hickok and get 3 strong women, put the hickok under where female green maize, corn, and other things. They will use petal to make the corn into grain, into fodder. If that girl did not, the hickok is under the instrument. If that girl did not in any way have sexual intercourse with anybody, the following morning, that hickok will wake the people inside that house from the sleeping from cockroach. But in as much as she knows somebody before that date, instantly when the instrument was taken, they will meet the hickok mixed with ground and dead. So what I want people to understand is that spiritualism and spirits played a vital role in shaping the life of the Hausa people before the coming of Islam. Before the coming of Islam, whatever a Hausa man do, he consults the services of a spirit that will prevent him, protect him, and do anything that will project his image. But with the coming of Islam, all these consultations are seriously dying at now. I'm apologizing for not being present, but by the will of God, I will send my full paper to the organizers of Lagos Study Association, and I'm highly impressed with all your programs, with all your assistance, with all your understanding on how you invited me, more especially.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Sean, I'm seriously appreciative, and I promise you, next year, by the will of God, I will be in Lagos physically to present my paper. Thank you so much. I'm highly grateful. Best regards.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bashir. We now have.
Thank you so much, my Mametu.
Thank you so much. We now have Dr. Kolawole Olaya. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Do you have your presentation?
No, I don't actually have
Okay.
no slide, and
Do you want to move around this?
I mean that's okay. What? Oh, you want me to speak over there? Yeah, I mean I can do that.
We can see him anyways. We can see him from over there if you want to see
Okay.
him.
Okay. Maybe if
You
you
can
just
see me.
maybe from this side, yeah.
Okay.
Wanda ke Ingila na gani, wanda ke Makka na gani.
Dr. Bashir, could you mute yourself? Could you mute him?
Yeah. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm talking to those online. Can you hear me? All right. So unlike the others, I think I'm not going to use any PowerPoint or any slide. I will go to read and speak to my paper. So the title of my paper is The Spirit Child, Abiku, creative nervousness, and the anxiety of representation. And I'm not sure that that title adequately captures what I wanted to say, but again, this is a work in progress. Okay, and I start. Interactions between human beings and spirits is a common theme in African literature and films. They come in different types, shapes, and forms. Some are stories of animals turning into human beings, some of dead relatives relocating to other places to start a new life, where they marry, procreate, and thrive. But any chance encounter with known human beings from their previous life drives those denizens of mysterious worlds to another location. Traditional stories and folktales are replete with incidents of encounters between human beings and spirits where children in the womb or pregnant women interact with spiritual forces that roam unseen by the uninitiated. There are cases where the fetus is initiated by the wandering spirits of Abiku. Sometimes it is displaced by another child from the kingdom of the wandering spirits. This Abiku or Obanje, the Igbos call them Obanje, a spirit child dies at will and is reborn several times. For the poor mother, this begins a cycle of the harvest and sorrow and sadness. For the Abiku and his ilk, such ceaseless coming and going is simply another mission accomplished. Stories have it that there is always a big celebration on the fourth stage at the homecoming of an Abiku child. Well, the fourth stage, I'm referencing Wole Soyinka's idea of the cycle of the live on the unborn, live, and the dead. And there is this mysterious phase. It's a stage of transition, which he calls the fourth stage. Wole Soyinka, the Nigerian dramatist, captures this brilliantly in his poem titled Abiku. And again, I think John Pepper Clark wrote another one. The Soyinka's poem is a celebration of a very proud Abiku who is saying that whatever human beings do, nobody can capture him. Nobody can tether him down. So in this paper, I use the Abiku phenomenon as a case study to explore the concept of human relationships with spiritual beings. I examine how African religions and metaphysical traditions envision interpersonal connections between the physical and spiritual world that most of us lack the spiritual insight to see and comprehend. It draws on diverse sources from sacred religious texts, literature, and African spiritual philosophies to understand how the nature of human interactions is reimagined and viewed through the lens of the divine, the cosmic, or the metaphysical. One of the questions raised in this paper is whether the idea of spiritual children, husbands, wives are real. The paper also reflects on the implications of these spiritual visions for ethics, community building, and the human quest for truth. By comparing and contrasting different cultural and spiritual perspectives on Abiku, this paper offers insights into how human beings conceive, apprehend, and misapprehend, and construct relations between the humans and creations who inhabit the higher planes of existence that are, in most cases, not acknowledged or grudgingly acknowledged. It raises questions on the ability of literature to help human beings understand the sacred in a postmodern African world that is increasingly skeptical about what it cannot apprehend. The postmodern African world is still largely tied to the West. Specifically, my paper raises the following questions. First, it seeks to define and understand the place of personal narratives in documenting interactions between humans and non-humans, and the question of credibility, using Abiku syndrome as a case study. This raises the question, are the Abiku stories told by human beings credible? Should we believe them because someone purports to have experienced or is an Abiku or know an Abiku? Are the stories of the spirit child Abiku in Yoruba and Yoruba land, and Ogbanje in Igbo. Incredible, simply because they failed the question of normative rationality. Who determines the credibility of these stories? Can human beings determine the credibility or otherwise of these stories? Should we, as non-participants, jettison such stories because we are unable to verify their veracity, especially when we lack the ability to penetrate these mysterious worlds? So let's pause and ask other questions. And let's pause and ask another question. So what is the limit of the rational? Can the rational penetrate, explain, account for all realities? Can it explain anything and everything? So these are all important questions. And as you can see, because Carmen is a very good police, I might not be able to, answer all these questions. So the Abiku is a marginalized group. Human beings are still trying to understand them, precisely because the qualities attributed to them are at best a conjecture. The few who understand the Abiku are herbalists, whose relationship with them can be described as slightly adversarial, because what constitutes their interests are contradictory. The Abiku wants them, the herbalist wants them to stay, the Abiku wants to leave, or their masters or handlers. So I think, I can see that the time is, really running. I might probably, skip a few things. Chakraborty spoke wrote an essay entitled, "Can the Subaltern Speak?" So in this, my paper, I'm conceiving the Abikus, I'm seeing them as the subaltern, people who have no voice, who are oppressed by the normative, those who consider, who are supposedly normal. And then because the Abiku are oppressed, because they lack the means of articulating their own narrative, and because Western scholarship, whatever their good intentions, suppress them, they are usually misrepresented. So what I want to do, what I want to do here is that I want to use, again, I'm skipping some of the stories. I want to use, the theoretical stuff. I want to use what I call a story of, I want to use a family as a kind of case study. So there was this woman, I'll call her name Fumilayo, who gave birth to a son. The son died after a brief illness. And then it was in those days where the doctors are the babalawo, the herbalists. And the man promised her that he will make sure, and I want just to underline that, he will make sure that the next child survives. That this boy was an Abiku. And of course, how did this start? So when Fumilayo became pregnant, work started. The man gave her a cockerel and told her, take care of this cockerel. If the cockerel dies, the child in your womb will die. If it survives, the child in your womb will survive. So anytime this cockerel is ill, Fumilayo is in trouble. So they took care of it, and of course, after 11 months and 11 days, she gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. And then, of course, the man, at any point in time, this boy will be ill. At times, the boy would even faint and die, supposedly. The man would say, don't worry, he's not going anywhere. So, of course, he kept on. And of course, in his early age, he went through a lot, and the boy survived and got to secondary school. Infantry in secondary school. He came home one day, told the mom he was going to visit a friend. And by the time he came back, he actually didn't know how he got home. So he collapsed on the bed. And on looking at the wall, it was as if he was watching a TV. Then the world kind of gave up, and there is a kind of dissolution into another world. And what was this world? A world paved in gold. So there was this big king, and all the members started accusing him of betrayal. You were supposed to have come back. So why didn't you come back? Today is your day. We need you to come back. And then there was this woman dressed in Ashofi who held a very big stick and said, you are not crossing here. Stay where you are. So when it became a battle of wits, he woke up, called the mom. Mom, my friend said let's go. And I want to follow them. And the mom said, what did you say? And on hearing this story, the mom yelled and everybody in the house came. And then, of course, it ran to where she could get help. And they made an incision and then they blocked the vision. And then, of course, everybody in the house gathered and started abusing this boy and asking and telling him, at this stage of your life, you are supposed to have left this kind of thing. Why would you do that? And of course, the mom shielded him and then asking questions. So it was in the course of the question that the boy told the mom about the woman, and the woman said, oh, that's my mother-in-law who loved your father so much. So he died even before I got married to your mother. So she had come to, prevent, and the mother-in-law happened to be an Orisha worshiper who was very venerated in the old town. So it was very powerful. So stop her from, stop him from going to another world. Now, there's certain characteristics. This boy doesn't wear jewelry. If he buys anything like that, it will disappear up to adult age. This boy doesn't have, if he buys a goat or any kind of stuff and anything mentioned, if you say this belongs to this person, within 2 days, it would die. So again, this is the story. This is the story of Anabiku. The mother literally worshipped the guy. Now, the mother actually believes that he's the only child. All the other brothers have 7 children. We will say all those people, I don't care about them. Everybody knows that this is Mama's child because he suffered a lot. So this is a story of someone who is a witness, who is a participant in this story. And the mother never believes that in anything called, oh, there's nothing like an Abiku. But the problem is this, the question I'm asking is this. So should we believe this story? Because this person is something that is, I would say, credible. I know the person very well. I can attest to this person that, okay, this is it. I know the mother. And then there are theories that say the Abiku child is, what is it called? Sickle cell. And there are a lot of stories. The Abiku has become a metaphor. So this is why I raised all these questions. Should we not believe these people because the Abiku is a figment, is a fiction? Or should we condemn this because there's no rationalization for it? Even when we know that the world is mysterious, there's a lot of things happening in the world. So this is why I say, again, this is a work in progress. Again, trying to theorize it, but again, I'm trying to see why are we not accepting our reality? Why should we not believe in the truth of the Abiku? Why should we begin to condemn it because it is not told by the Bible or the Quran? We've been told about stories of jinns and all these things. So how do we, like I said, how does one say no in thunder? And then again, I'm sure maybe in the process of asking questions, again, if you have questions at the end, we'll be able to discuss this further. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You were only 14 minutes, so thank you.
Yeah.
So, thank you to all of you for keeping to time. Really interesting presentations. We had more literary presentations, more kind of ethnographic presentations. So we have about 13 minutes to discuss. Questions, comments for our presenters. We'll take about 5 and then we'll have people respond and then we'll take after that. I saw your hand first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and you'll be the first one. Sorry. Okay, so you remember your numbers, right? So go ahead.
Good evening, distinguished members of this program, and thank you for the presenters for wonderful presentations. I would say I'm here to actually learn. And that is why I want to ask these questions. I will start from the second presenter. It said mantle to mean sorcery. I want to ask, is that a direct translation from Hausa to English, that mantle means sorcery? if that is not the case, why is it that mantle is only invoked to do evils? Why can't it also be invoked to do good things? That's my question for the second presenter. For the third presenter, who was talking about how a forbidden sexual affair was done in the Hausa land prior to the coming of religion. The question I want to ask is there a way the spirit can be invoked rather than kill the erring ladies in such situations? Just expose it, and perhaps the community members can decide, having exposed the lady, the community members can then decide on the kind of punishment that can be given to such lady. Because I understand, and I stand to be corrected now, if I think spirits are directed based on the wishes of men. It is what you want the spirit to do that the spirit will do. No, I'm not even going into that. I don't want to go into that. My concern is actually whether the spirits are bad or it is the making of man that has made spirits to either be bad or good. And I would like the presenter to actually help me shed light on that. And the last presenter, sir. One is a comment, the other is a question.
Yeah.
What happens in situations where the people themselves do not actually want to live, especially when they have grown to the level of understanding the beauty of this realm of existence? And as the colleagues on the other realm are trying to bring him or her back, the parents are trying to drag him to stay, but there are people in or herself might actually be interested in staying. Maybe he's now involved in so many things that he doesn't want to leave. Is there a rationale to explain why and what can people do in such situations? Are there studies or situations that have exposed that kind of history? The other one, which is the comment, is yes, I actually believe that spirits do exist. And this can be further confirmed from the story you told us. The mother-in-law was not actually in the picture of everything, but suddenly the mother-in-law was seen in the. So could that be that even those who are dead are also existing in spirit to the extent that they can communicate and relate with those who are living and shape their lives and activities? Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you. Number two.
Thank you, sir. Thank you everyone for the presentation. So I'd like to start with the last presentation on the happy story. And I would like to say that I would like to address one of the questions that you asked, why people do not believe in it. For me, I'm a philosophy student, and we have the mind and body theory that confirms that spirits do exist. And again, to confirm that, you see that even science that is trying to discredit spirits, when science gets to a level where they don't understand anymore, they call it meta. So spirits do exist, and such experiences, I believe they exist. It depends on how people handle it. And just like my previous question, the observer said, from experience, it appears that there's a situation where the person's choice is also involved in some of those things. Thank you, sir. So for the presenter before you,
Dr. Bashir.
Dr. Bashir, yes. So I am evaluating this situation. I know as feminists, we are really not going to be really happy with so many things. Everything happens, the girl dies. But I would like to ask, maybe if we find out what is the significance of virginity to the Hausa people. So if we know the significance of virginity, then we will know why they do all this. What's the significance of virginity to them? What's the significance of virginity to the culture and to the marriage system? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number three.
Okay, I want to come with Dr. Bashir. The question, what he said about the girls. If you're looking at the girls, what about the boys? Why are they leaving the boys in the house? Why is it that it's only the girls in everything?
And sir, I would like to also know if it still attains now. You know, what he said was before Islam. No, so in the current, what is the current state of things?
Okay, number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a question for Dr. Zaina, I think, and then a comment for Professor Kolaoli. So my question, from your topic, you said Hausa cosmology. And by the time you began to make your presentations, I had to underline it and then put Islamic on top. Because from your presentation, you seem to have conflated traditional African, traditional Hausa cosmology with Islamic cosmology. And I think both are two distinct and different things. I would have expected more of an exposition of the Bori religion, which is the traditional African religion. And so I would have expected an exposition of the cosmology from that perspective. So I don't know whether, you know, and then also you talk about the Iskokai, Iskoki, the Iskoki. You just say, but you don't tell us what they are, what they do. So I think I would like more clarification on that. Then to Prof, I'm not sure that you are ever going to get a rationally agreeable answer to this question that you have posed. You see, even in philosophy, that, like my sister has said, as much as we recognize mind and body, or well, in African philosophy, the various aspects, there's still a lot of debate over whether there's an immaterial aspect to reality. There's no univocal agreement to that. So long as you're going to have people who believe that everything to reality is the physical, and so unless they experience empirically, they're not going to believe, then you're not likely to get this. And then in talking about, well, and I'm now coming from the perspective of someone who believes in the immaterial perspective to reality. African metaphysics gives me an answer in this. Like, I've talked about the fact that you cannot arrive at a univocal answer. I'm now talking about a way to answer those who agree that there's an immateriality. You see, especially in Yoruba metaphysics, how the abikus are conceptualized. And this also talks to, you know, the why they seem to prefer to obey or to go to their friends rather than stay with the parents. Apparently, according to Yoruba metaphysics and the conceptualization of Abiku, there's this agreement they enter into before they come to Earth. The Abikus are not just, you see, they are on the lookout for pregnant women. They're full-grown spirits who are on the lookout for pregnant women who they now displace the child in the womb, and they now come. But you see, before entering into the pregnant woman's womb and displacing the child, they have already entered into an agreement with the spirit world. There are others in the spirit world, as well as Mother Earth. And so it seems that agreement they have imposes a greater allegiance or obligation to them than what they owe to their parents. And that's
so that which answers
his, yes. Yeah.
Right, if they betray this agreement, it could lead to them becoming,
yes. Which is why the practice of mutilation.
Yeah.
Because mutilation, when they mutilate the dead.
There's also a question online. We have questions online.
Not taking all the questions. When they mutilate the dead babies, and I'm rounding up, when they mutilate the dead babies, the babies, when they get back to the spirit world, they're sent back. So it's like the agreement has been broken because of the mutilation. Yeah. So that is a comfortable way of breaking the promise or the obligation.
Thank you so much. We have number 5, and then we will wait for the second round for the online questions. So number 5.
Thank you so much. I thought my question goes to the last presenter.
Yeah.
That's okay. The previous this lady answer or question as giving reason why I will understand that Abiku exists. Even the Bible talks about spirit coming down to sleep with women.
Yeah.
That was why giant was birthed. So it may also happen to Abiku. Now my question is, okay, let's say she didn't answer that question. Can it be a resource problem medically, like when there's no compatibility? Okay, that one counts as factor. Yes, factor. I think child will die. Okay, then
to answer, yeah.
another question is that, okay, this child sees things. Can it be a mental problem that the child hallucinates, that starts seeing things? So that should also be checked to see whether it's really Abiku thing. Then somebody here said he's also an Abiku. Then I asked the question that
Now I'm the
so it can also be one of your
research
participant to say his own part of his Abiku story.
Okay.
Yes. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm in my power as a moderator. I'm going to ask one more question for Retsipile.
Okay.
Retsipile, you were talking about kind of Southern African metaphysical mythology and so on. And so now having we've heard two Hausa and a Yoruba spirituality. I'm just interested in what kind of comparisons you can make with Southern African spirituality. All right, so let's take maybe 2 minutes each, and then we'll have another round of questions.
Can I quickly?
Well, let's start with Kolawole since.
Because I'll make it brief. I mean, like I think Professor answered your question in terms of, yes, there's a covenant. And the covenant, if you look at it, even in the Bible, covenant is a very, very strong thing. So the allegiance to that, in some cases, if they prove stubborn, they turn them into something else. They live a life that is useless. So that is one thing. The question of resources. Well, the reason why I'm talking about this is actually the medical thing. The medical thing for me, they use it to rationalize everything. Oh, because maybe it's the resource of the blood thing, or maybe it's hallucination. At times, what we don't understand, we myth it, we turn it to myth. I mean, again, I think that's something I'll disclose at the end of my presentation. Supposing that person did not hallucinate, supposing the whole thing is real, supposing the Funmilayo is my mother, supposing I'm that child I'm writing about. So in other words, maybe I'm the subject matter. This is my story. So I know I wasn't hallucinating. I know I was in class 2. I know Funmilayo is my mother. I know my mother, she literally, if I'm sitting like this, my mother will be shaking and say, for me, what is, even now, because all this is I'm telling you about is me, is it hallucination if I have something and it disappears? Is it hallucination that I did not, when I got wedded, I was not using, I did not wear the rings because I cannot stand it. I wedded with a Bible. So this is my story. So it's just that I actually was thinking about how do I write this and it will not be something that will be just about me.
Yeah.
So there is a war, things happen. And then, there's a lot of things we cannot explain. So why would we just resort to say all these things? So I know what I'm talking about. It's my story. It's something that happens to me. And I wish I could actually have connection so that I can, but then, it was blocked. But I still do it. If I dream, it's 100% correct. If you come today and say, Kola, take this corporate, we'll kill it tomorrow. It won't last you tomorrow. Yes. So there's still certain things that happen strangely. If I'm having a headache here, my mom will call me and say, hey, Okomo, So what's wrong with it? So she still believes that I'm the only child. All the other children are jealous. So this is it. Because again, so I'm just trying to understand myself. I'm just trying to, does that answer your question, Noe?
What else? It looks like Dr. Bashir is not with us anymore. Is that right? Okay, I don't think Dr. Bashir is with us, so we'll go into Dr. Zainab.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you. I think I have three questions, which I'll address quickly.
Yeah.
The first person asked about Maita, which I translate as sorcery. And he said, why is it evil? Well, I don't know if there is good sorcery. What I know is mostly it is people who have certain kind of power to unleash harm on others through sorcery, and they can obtain this power through jinns or through the iskokai, which I will also explain in a minute. So that's the difference. With Maita, it is human beings, people that are material, that you know them, you can see them, but they go into a kind of a pact with spirits, mostly to inflict harm on others. I'm not aware if there is good sorcery. I'm not aware of that, but I will ask. I'll research further. And the second question talks about Islam and Hausa cosmology. I'm very aware of this. If you know that the Hausa culture is deeply influenced by Islam, because of the long years of the religion and Islamic thing in the north. However, in my presentation, I'm conscious, and that is why I differentiate in the very first instance that Iskokai, the concept of Iskokai predate Islam, and these spirits are known to inhibit human beings, and every human being is said to have at least one spirit. So they are with us, they are us, they are the other of us. And that is what makes them different from the al-Janu, which is a concept that came with Islam. The word al-Janu itself is derived from the Arabic word jinn, okay, which are also spirits created by God to worship him. So that is my idea, and I'm very careful in my presentation and my discussion about this, because if one is not careful, you might think that they are the same, but they are actually not the same. And that's it. So the last question, also she still asks about spirits. There is okay. Well, they are just spirits, and like I said, they are us. They are not different from us. They are not away from us. They are not apart from us. So I'm a spirit, and I'm also human. And perhaps if you are in Hausa community, you will also be a spirit and a human. So yeah. So that's what I can say about that. I think those are the questions that were posed to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. And Dr. Retsipile.
The spiritual interpretation, I think because Silo Doika, who is South African, he's from the same culture as me. So for me, the understanding of sometimes some people can be considered dead in a very scientific way, but the community could believe that that person is not dead, that person is taken by witchcraft or some other power. So that person is not dead. That is why I think the possibility of going to the underworld to liberate the people that are not properly dead, that are just sort of hidden, like this sort of curtain that hides or that takes away your loved ones, and they're not completely dead. So that is similar between my culture and his culture, because we are both from the Sotho culture. The Zimbabwean Shona mythologies, there's something very interesting, even though I don't speak Shona and I'm not from the Shona culture, which is that this idea, the opening of my presentation with this idea that the women who are there to receive the child that gets born, they've already met the child before in dreams. So this idea that a person can be a spirit child, in fact, there's a sort of a direct translation for it, which is sort of like ancestor child, or the child of the head of the ancestors. That is your head is connected to the ancestral world. The word is actually similar between Shona and Sesotho. So in Sesotho we say Badimu, which is the gods or ancestors. Like Badimu is a plural of Mudimu, who is the Almighty God, but in the plural it becomes Ba, like Mosotho, Basotho. In Shona, you have the same word, which is Midzimu, which is the plural. So this is ancestors. And because of this similarity, I found it very easy to understand how the child is of the ancestors. Your obligation, if you are the child of the ancestors, is that once you are in this world, you have to become a healer, a diviner, or some kind of spirit medium. Sometimes it's not as intense. The intensity of it can get a person to be ill and suffer from a lot of medical complications if they don't observe it. It's the same in Shona and Sesotho. So that's the spiritual interpretation of my culture and the Shona culture that I'm aware of, and the novels as well, the text that I discussed.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you, yes. All right, we have just about 5 minutes, so why don't we read the question that was submitted by, from Dr. Anuli Adina. Thanks for your interesting presentations. My question is for Retsipile. Are there multiple spirit worlds in the texts you interrogated? If so, as I imagine there will be, how do you distinguish them? Do you differentiate them according to contextual belief systems, the authors of those texts, or through your own theoretical paradigms? Let's quickly take the raised hand and then we'll come back to you, and then we'll take one more round if we have time.
I have a question online.
Yes, we're trying to get to it. How do they speak? Okay. Okay, Inyene, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Yeah, so my question is to Dr. Bashir Aliyu. So I think someone must have already broached this question, but yeah, it was about, the gender dynamics in his work. So, it's about girls, preventing girls indulging in premarital sex. So I just wanted to ask if there was any similar spiritual intervention preventing boys, because premarital sex is not just girls who are having this sex, they're having the sex with boys, right? So I just wanted to ask if there was a spiritual intervention for boys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, he's not here anymore, but let's go to Dr. Jaron.
Okay. Sorry.
I have a question. That's what I've been trying to say, Carmen.
Okay, please, let's let Dr. Jaron and then we'll take you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting presentations from the four of them. I don't want to say that.
Just 1 minute, please.
Okay. When we sing as Christians, Holy Spirit, move me now. Go on. What do we mean?
Alive, born again,
the first presenter said spirit moves. So I think I go with her. That's where I would drop that. For the second presenter, Bashir, well, he has run away. I think among the team of Benue State, and maybe Taraba, part of Taraba, they have the same tradition. If their girls, young girls, messes up, or mess up rather, and is discovered on the day of maybe wedding and all of that, carry snail shells are made into a necklace and is hung on the neck of the girl. For I don't think they go to the extent of what Bashir explained to us, but of course, for me, it's a way to go back to that sane, quote and unquote, society. Zainab, I was not really concentrating on our own presentation, but I also believe that there is a connection between what she said and the others. For Prof, my senior guy here, yes, I'm happy that I am not alone. As Professor Abiku, Abiye, now I have another senior brother. Somebody raised a point earlier that maybe I don't have a question, or maybe I'm just asking. I mean, at the point, if parents of the Abiku take care, very good care of the child, that child will sever the link, the covenant with the spirit was, and decide to stay. A lot of rituals may be involved. It's the coming of Christianity and Islam that has brought all this confusion.
I don't think so.
That's one of the things I grew up knowing. Okay, and like I mentioned in the first part, let me see. Yoruba traditional theater practitioners, the 60s, 70s used this thing to teach us some of these things. But by the time our family started going to Islam or Christianity more, we began to lose the link in. Who knows? Our president may even be an Abiku because the stories about him, that's Tinubu, are just there. We don't know where to place him.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to Elizabeth quickly, and then we can continue the discussion the whole way.
No, we
Okay.
can answer the question.
Elizabeth, please. Dr. Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you very much. My question, thank you, presenters. I have a question for Dr. Respectile. I am wondering if you can tease out how does that coming and going between the spirits, like those women identifying the child before he was born, like this constant coming and going between the spirit, how does it allow us to understand human spirit relations? That's for then for Dr. Zainab. Are you also interested in the way spirits can be situated within transnational discourse, given not just your joke about the spirit not escorting you to Leeds, but also because of your focus on luminous spaces?
Okay, so I think those were great questions. Our IT people are.
Well, I mean, let's answer the question.
Let's could we let Dr. Retsipile speak to the two questions she got? Retsipile, if you could just go ahead, and then we'll be in person. We can continue the discussion.
To your question, Elizabeth, Dr. Elizabeth, thank you very much. I think what that tells us about the human world and the spirit world is this this going and coming. For me, my interpretation of it is that when there are problems, when there is concern, a person in the Sesotho culture is usually a heroine most of the time. A girl gets sent by the community or the elders or volunteers herself to go across, which usually would be a water surface, and they go underneath the water to find another city or another world where they have to battle a lot of elements, a lot of creatures that are not realistic or of this world. And only after outsmarting those creatures, always with the help of an old woman who lives there, will she come back with the reward or the solution. It's usually physical, like a blanket or a shield or an instrument that fights. But for me, my own interpretation is that Earth has problems. Somebody has to go somewhere and find a solution and bring the solution to the world. So it's a cycle that keeps going, that when we have problems, we dip into the spirit world through this character of a young girl who's concerned, and then they will bring the solution. I don't know if I answer your question properly.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I think we're out of time, but the people on this end I think are going to continue to discuss Abikuso.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So,
okay, you can continue the discussion. Yes.
So are you happy?
Very well done. It works well.
Yeah, I told you.